What thing from Facebook did you send me? Oh, I did see that. Yeah, it's hilarious. I also thought it was interesting how booed Taylor Swift got
by the Eagles.
Oh yeah,
fans.
Well,
it was mainly by Eagles fans.
Well, there was a reason for that. If I understand right, she grew up near or in Philadelphia and was an Eagles fan until dating Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say she can be a fan of both.
Then no, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Capes, Cowls, and Conversations. We are back on the road to Daredevil Born Again. Still, I guess these two guys across the table from me are reeling over Kansas City losing to my Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're crying just a little bit, but
I mean, I was one of those that when I heard that Travis Kelce might propose to Taylor Swift, I was like, oh, okay, I could see it. And then, you know,
it didn't happen.
It didn't.
No, they lost. Who wants to propose when you lost?
Hey, you got to have
one.
Remember when you proposed to me when you lost the Super Bowl?
Hey, like
it has him questioning his life choices now. I read today that he's like, I just may not even play next year. I'm going to make a decision later.
Dang.
I mean, that's not a bad way to end off.
The
he
one
made it to
thing
the Super Bowl.
that frustrated me the most is they were struggling for like the first half, and then after the halftime show, and then about like 5 minutes left of the third quarter, the Chiefs just have this weird random comeback and then make a decent score. I think it was like 24-40 by the end. No, 22-40 by the end.
They were playing against the Eagles' second string at that point.
I was going to say, I think
Well,
I
yeah.
had read, what I had read was that they switched it up at the end and let them score.
I don't think you
times.
realize how big an Eagles fan I am. I will not allow that kind of talk like the Chiefs came back. The Eagles let them in it.
Oh, yeah. This is the weird thing. So I don't remember which Super Bowl this was, but do y'all remember the Puppy Monkey Baby commercial?
Oh my God.
No, I can't say that I do.
It's like 2012. Oh my God.
I saw it again, but completely new the other day, and I don't remember where I saw it from.
Oh, no.
I don't know if it was from TikTok or if it was on the TV while I was at work. I don't remember. I just know I saw it out the corner of my eye.
You know,
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly.
Puppy Monkey. What?
I have no idea what that is.
It was a commercial, I want to say for Mountain Dew.
Oh, I probably saw it, and I just, I don't have space in my near 50-year-old brain for that anymore.
It was literally the torso of a monkey, the head of a pug, and then it had baby legs.
So you're okay. So you're Athena from Eternals, then, right?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Running out of memory.
Yeah, I am running out of memory. It's true. It's true, but I do remember what we're here for. So let's get on with it. We are going to talk about Daredevil Season 2. If you've liked what you've heard previously and you haven't gone ahead and liked and shared and subscribed or hit the notification bell or rated us or commented, please do so. All of those things are important to us. We'd love to see it. And in the meantime, we're gonna take you on the road to Daredevil Born Again. So, Season 2 of Daredevil, for me, I'm just gonna start if you guys don't mind. For me, if Season 1 was like enter Daredevil and enter Wilson Fisk, Season 2 was like the rise of the Kingpin. No, the rise of the Kingpin, the rise of the Hand, yes, and enter Punisher.
Yeah.
It was kind of enter Punisher, the rise of the Hand, and the rise of Kingpin, because what you saw you didn't see a whole lot of Wilson Fisk, but what you saw was the change from Wilson Fisk to actual Kingpin while he was in prison.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't say much of a rise, more of like a resurrection. Like if you were to like, because he hasn't fully risen yet.
He didn't die.
He kind of did. Like his reputation died.
I guess, but the greater point being he made a transformation from just what appeared to be a mob boss to he learned how to take control of the whole prison. I mean, he walked Punisher out of the prison.
No, yeah.
Like it was nothing.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
It was really, to me, it was the rise of Kingpin. After you saw Wilson Fisk, he wasn't really Kingpin in season 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I would say in this case, it's still like day 2 before, like the day before Easter, like he resurrects in season 3. Like it's never mind. It was an analogy. Never mind. Bad analogy.
Okay, the day before Easter.
He's
parts. Jesus, apparently.
Apparently.
Kingpin Jesus. That's what Cameron is saying. Okay, so that's it for me. Talk to me about season 2.
Well,
after coming back from Jessica Jones season 1, I liked how much more was going on. It was better. It had a better pace for me to enjoy it more. Like I still enjoy Jessica Jones season 1, but again, to me, it just felt sluggish. And then going back to Daredevil, it just felt like things were going on way more frequently. There was more stuff to try and more stuff to try and focus on just to get an idea of what's happening. And with how I was not expecting them to just throw Punisher into season 2 at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be at least later, like at least towards maybe halfway into season 3.
yeah, for context, I didn't tell him anything. Like,
no, he keeps saying like, I cannot confirm nor deny information on what you're asking me. I was like, no, it's just simple stuff.
No, but that's perfect though, because we've both seen it already. And so it's great to have you on here to say, this is my first time and this is what I expected or didn't expect. So it's cool to have that perspective.
See, for me, on my opinion, when we first watched it, I always felt like it was bloated. Like a lot was going on. And I understand why, but like especially now after seeing all the other stuff, I understand why it's bloated. But for me, I felt like the Punisher and the hand stuff could have been separated into 2 separate seasons.
I agree.
I'm actually glad they didn't.
Really?
No, I'm glad they didn't. It felt more like we're going to set something up and then finish it off.
Yeah.
And so they set up Punisher and then you kind of lose track of him for a little bit while they deal with some of the hand stuff and the Wilson Fisk stuff. And obviously Wilson Fisk deals with Punisher in prison.
True.
But at the end, Daredevil's fighting the hand.
Yeah.
And Punisher's over there with the sniper. And he's like, you know what? He now knows that Daredevil is Matthew Murdock because he knows Matthew Murdock.
Oh, he also figured it out in the courtroom.
But I'm just saying he knows. And so he sits there and he helps him out.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he's on the run.
That also caught me by surprise. And
he helped him?
Yes, I do like that he helped him, which probably goes into how I guess he joins in with them to become the defenders and whatnot.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, yeah. So,
you're holding back something.
So he likes having something to say, but you're right. It absolutely sets him up to not just be a vigilante on the run, an anti-hero completely, because he did help the hero.
Yeah.
So there is a reason for black and white Matthew Murdock, who sees no gray area for anybody, to have a gray area for.
Well, and I like 2 things. I like the way that the Punisher Matt Murdock dynamic is handled, because the first time they had the rooftop argument where they're both opposing each other, and then you have the scene where he sits with him and learns about his family, which is really impactful for both characters. And then you have the scene in the courtroom where Matt is addressing Frank, and Frank figures it out. like by hearing him call him Frank. Like it's actually really cool. You can actually analyze his face and you can see where he figures it out and goes, "Oh my god, it's him."
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing is the moment at the docks where like Daredevil's like, or was it the docks or was it after? He has a conversation with him. He's like, maybe it's not so bad to kill.
At the docks where the docks blow
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, he's like, maybe it's not so bad. Like, maybe I can make an exception. He's like,
One time.
no,
Yeah.
you can't make. You are too good for that. You've seen good in me, and you helped me, so I'm not going to let you go down that path.
Yeah, no, I love the way that they handled the dynamic, and actually, I loved the fighting between them. And the way that Punisher kind of respected him enough to not demask. He's like, I don't care who's under the mask.
Oh, yeah.
I just have a task to do, and I'm going to do it. I recognize what you're trying to do in Hell's Kitchen. I think you're ineffective, but I'm not here to kill you and stop you from doing what you're doing. I think that I like the way that was handled. I don't really particularly care for the Karen Page absolute nonsense to me of how she just had to throw herself into danger chasing Frank down all the time, trying to tell his story at her own life's risk.
Well, I don't know how much you remember of later stuff, so I'm not gonna get into it. But like I feel like it works when you go into the context of where she ends up later.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but for me, just watching season 2,
Yeah,
she was the most annoying part of season 2.
my problem is how they would use her. Like, for instance, when she walks into the room with him and Elektra, she doesn't even give him a chance to explain.
Well, I mean, that's real life.
Like it's
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You're not going to be in your bedroom with a woman in your bed and your girlfriend walk in and be like, "Oh, hey, tell me what's going on here." She's gonna storm out. That's exactly
Stick
how that
was
worked.
also there.
So,
Like
she didn't know who Stick was either.
She could have stopped for a second, but like, who are these people? Please explain. You know, like I don't know.
That's not real life.
I wish. To be fair, I also think it's a bit contrived that it was her and not Foggy. I wish it was Foggy that walked in because that would have made way more sense.
Why?
Because Foggy hadn't talked to Matt in a day at that point, and they needed to be prepped for court the next morning. And instead,
But she's his girlfriend. She's more likely to be there.
Well, and
Foggy was already feeling
also
hurt.
Probably would have, because Foggy said that he remembers Elektra, right? Whenever
yeah, he
Matt
knew.
told him that Elektra came back.
Yeah, he knew who Elektra was.
Yeah, so that could have played off totally differently, and Matt and Karen probably would still be together, and I was hoping that they would fix their relationship throughout the rest of season 2, and then he at the end just decides to tell her the truth, which I didn't know was going to happen at the end of season 2 at all. I thought it was going to wait till season 3 as well. And so many other things with the hand and Elektra. There was just a lot, and then especially with the Colonel. I didn't know he was going to turn against Karen at all.
The Colonel turn was a surprise, and I forgot about it. I've seen it, and I knew it happened, but I forgot about it. And when it happened, I was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah!" That was one of the best things you don't see coming that I think they did in that whole.
It had me convinced, not that Frank died, because obviously they didn't find the body, but that the guy on the dock was the blacksmith. Like, I don't know why that had me convinced, but that's where it had led me, was that it was over and then he was going to go back on a rampage. I don't know why that's where that went, but that whole thing surprised me all over again. I'm so happy about it because it felt like watching it for the first time.
I'm actually like how it took till that point, and then that's where the Punisher finds like the hidden gear stash of weapons and then the military clothing, and then goes and spray paints his skull symbol onto it. And when he showed up to help Matt, and just the way the light reflected, the light hit the skull off of his chest, it looked fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
I forgot he got the logo at the end.
Everything's an origin story.
No, wow, that was bad.
Every time with me. What you can count on with Cameron, the phone's gonna ring.
So I thought he got the logo in his own show.
No, this was his origin story.
Well, yeah, but I don't know why.
This was his origin story.
Me, because it's
Just like Matt getting his costume at the end of season 1.
Well,
yeah,
but his proper costume, the good one, he didn't get it till season 2.
I know, but he got a costume.
Yeah,
Melvin even went out of his way to give Elektra an upgrade too.
I mean, at Matt's request.
Well, yeah, and then Matt's new what was it called again? His weapon,
The bow staff.
No, it was Billy Club.
Billy Club.
Yeah,
that's
Billy
what it was.
Club. The new one, I like it so much better than his old one.
I mean,
way more.
I like both. I like the. What are they called?
So
They just called them sticks
That's-
or something.
yeah.
But I like those, the way he fights with one in each hand, but I do love the Billy Club too,
Yeah,
and the way that
and-
it can shoot out and come back.
Yeah,
Such a
which
fun
this is
weapon.
funny. The first time he tested that out, for whatever reason, the first thing that popped in my head was Scorpion doing that same exact thing with the
Yes.
spear, just being get over here.
Here.
That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, oh, he can do that now.
Man, I needed a button for that on here. I could have been like, get over here.
Yeah, I like
got. No, now I have to know what I've got. Hold on. Oh, no. But I've got something that can do it.
Get over here. No, that's more like finish him.
Yeah. That's more like it.
That's so fun.
But yeah, I prefer the Billy Club / nunchuck thing versus the two sticks. In my opinion, the two sticks are iconic, but they give an explanation for how he's able to get around the city better with like the grappling hook feature to it. Even though it's not
Well, he
realistic.
doesn't get rid of the sticks, right?
No, he
They're
doesn't.
still on the side
No.
of his costume,
He-
I'm pretty sure.
He fully gets rid. That's just he just snaps it in half.
Oh,
puts it
okay.
in the holes,
Puts it in the
and
same
then puts
spots.
it back. Yeah.
Got it.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I loved Elektra, by the way. Loved the backstory of Elektra and Matt.
Oh yeah, and the whole backstory with how Styx even trained her, and what?
he said sticks again.
Oh,
Sticks, whatever. Same thing.
It's okay.
because I swore in one of the episode descriptions, I swore it was spelled STYX. For some reason, I thought I saw it spelled that way.
I mean, it could have been. I don't know.
No, it's all
but
good.
that whole origin story was great, and just how she developed as a character, and then it also, like, you get to see when she told Matt that her first kill was when she was 5. But wait, did she say 5? If she did, it looks like she was way older.
I think she was like 10-ish, 10, 12.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there.
That fight where she's fighting the couple of guys.
Yeah, and then one of them
And-
comes up behind her as she's training by herself with a knife, and
She like shamed them, so he comes to kill her.
then yeah.
Yeah, I that scene recontextualizes what she says because she says that she felt like she wanted to do it and there was no reason to kill him, but he was trying to kill her.
Well, I mean, I think, isn't that the same? No, that's not the same guy that she was actually about to kill. That was the guy that was
was.
talking to Stick.
It
No,
was
the guy who.
It was the
that
same
she
guy
about to
that
kill.
she was beating
Oh,
on
well,
the
then
side
she
of the
apologized.
She did want to kill him.
Yeah, but like in the moment, that was all self defense. Like that is just.
When she killed him was all self defense, but she wanted to kill him before that because Stick
Yeah.
had to tell her, like, you gotta get under control. You can't just kill everyone. You can't kill people that are on our side.
And then he
Yeah.
goes around and kills the guy that's telling him to take care of it,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
completely turned that around.
I love that. Like I watched that and then I watched Invincible season 3 right after.
Well,
because her and Oliver are so similar.
they are very similar. But what's interesting, Crap, I just lost my train of thought with you talking about Invincible.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I totally lost that whole train of thought. I was gonna say something about Stick killing someone. Oh no, I remember now. What's interesting is how they played the hand up to this point as they're looking for the black sky. Black sky. They're looking for the black sky, and they've got all these kids that they keep bringing in, like they're doing child trafficking for the black sky, and the whole time they knew it was Elektra.
That was another thing that surprised me. I didn't think she was going to be labeled as the Black Sky at all.
Yeah, and they alluded to it several times, saying, "You know what she is." Like the guy saying to Stick, "You know what she is," but they didn't come out and say she's the Black Sky. They wanted you to figure that out or get the surprise when Nobu.
Yeah.
I think Nobu's the one who actually says she's the Black Sky, and then everybody's like, "Whoa!" Then of course she's like, "Well, then this is my destiny. Suddenly, I have to be evil because destiny determines that for you."
Yeah. I like that the whole thing has been choices for her too. Like she gets to choose who she wants to be.
Well, and only because of Matt, right?
Yeah.
Without Matt telling her, you have a choice.
Yeah.
Like she just assumed, "Oh, I'm the Black Sky, then I'm evil, and I'm bringing the end of the world."
Was loving.
And now
her
I'm
worth
still
it.
curious as to what. Well, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the I guess sarcophagus type thing that they're having, I guess the blood run through is how they resurrect more people that die or something like that.
Well,
I
it's the
cannot
way they
confirm or deny
it's the way they
information.
brought back Nobu over and over again. And so I think it's fair to say sticking her in there tells you she's coming back.
Yeah. And
So without ruining anything, sticking her in there is how she comes back later. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I will say I got very squeamish when Stick was being tortured with having those wooden things shoved
under his
underneath his fingernails. I hated that.
I warned you that season 1 was tame. I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because God, that was the other thing. The first scene that was because he was like, you were like, again, you were like, it's tame. Like this is all the same. And then the Irish bar gets shut up.
Yeah.
He was like, oh.
And then I did not know that the chick from the DA was gonna get killed like shortly after the case ended.
Yeah. And how they were trying to pin that on Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole trial, I guess, plot point was I enjoyed that a lot, and it just I don't know, it really showed that even though Karen and Foggy were trying to help Frank be like, all right, you got to plead guilty. We've got this really good deal for you. And, we're going to try and say that you have PTSD because he does. At this point,
clearly,
he does.
Yeah.
for sure.
But he's not wanting to admit to that because he thinks that that's offending like the other veterans that actually do have it because he doesn't think he does.
Well,
And then he just goes up and says that he is guilty, but he's going to do it all over again.
Well, so you guys can correct me if I saw this wrong, but when Frank takes the stand, it seems like the bailiff walked by him and said something like, "Think about what you're."
yeah, he did.
You
Yeah.
know, I think he didn't want to plead guilty, and he got threatened into pleading guilty.
Fisk sent the bailiff after him so that they could have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that was the point of him. He never wanted to plead guilty. He didn't want them. He never wanted them to plead him guilty. He felt like he did what was right.
Yeah.
And then that bailiff came along and said, "Think about, where you want to be," or something like this. And all of a sudden he's like, "I did it and I'd do it again. Send me to prison," whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Fisk.
He
screwed
threw
the whole trial.
I felt like he was probably going to win until that outburst. Like he was
Yeah.
going to end up free. You're going to get exactly what you want. And then that outburst, and he ends up going to prison.
Well, in real life, so a lawyer actually analyzed the court case in legal realism, and the opening statement from the DA in reality is god awful. Like it would have thrown her case immediately. Like they probably would have thrown that case out a lot sooner if it wasn't Punisher.
I did enjoy Foggy's trial. I like intelligent legal. I like intelligent legal shows.
Yeah.
I was not an Ally McBeal kind of fan, silly. To be perfectly honest, any legal part of She-Hulk was kind of silly. But intelligent legal shows, I do like, and like watching them make their arguments. And I know it's TV show writers and stuff, and they usually have consultants who are actual attorneys. But I love watching that. And every time Foggy had to talk, throughout the show, every time he had to do anything that was legal, that had to do with his job, I always am fascinated by that. Like that's something that I wish I had done or could do. So it's just really like, I love that part of the show. I don't think they explore it enough. The legal aspect of Daredevil. I wish they would do more with it.
I was also shocked that the place that Foggy applied to was the firm that
Hogarth.
yeah.
I
That definitely threw me off. I'm surprised that, but now it makes sense as to how intertwined all these shows really are.
Yeah, they do a really good job of pulling them all together, keeping these
feel
characters
like
together in a
old-
huge city like
Well,
that.
not necessarily old, but I guess you can call it old at this point. But like old Marvel shows connect way better than the way newer shows and newer movies do.
Yeah, I think part of that is consequences. Like the Daredevil Defenders saga has consequences for each individual action that they make. Whereas like Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff, usually they have one thing happen and then the next thing is a completely different story and it doesn't really get affected by the last story unless it's like Civil War or Infinity War, but the other ones really don't.
Well, I think we can all agree it's kind of dumb after Iron Man 1 that these characters have all of these solo movies where they don't interact. Like you've got Captain America on planet Earth, you've got Iron Man, you've got Thor who can come to Earth whenever he wants to, and there's a big bad that only Iron Man faces who's trying to kill the president, but Captain America's not there.
Yeah, that's
you know,
also weird.
That kind of stuff doesn't make sense, where that's something that they do really well with so far. And because I've seen the whole thing through the Defenders, they do really well with these shows is keep everybody who's interconnected involved in the story, even if it's not their show, like Luke Cage showing up in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And like Hogarth showing up in Daredevil. They keep all of those characters really well connected, where the MCU can't, because the cost of having Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans show up in somebody else's movie is going to make the movie budget skyrocket.
True.
And so they're not able to, but it's too bad.
Yeah, because like for me, it's like if Fast and Furious like had a different cast for each movie. Like if Vin Diesel like didn't have the same family for most of the movies, it was all different casts, or like they only got together every once in a while, like every third movie. Like that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because the Avengers are kind of similar. Like they're like a family. It's weird that they separate so frequently and don't appear in each other's lives,
Right.
Like outside of Avengers movies.
So, I once you launched it, and that's how we felt about the Arrowverse. Once you launched it, once you've crossed over, how can you not continue to cross over or ask for help?
Like Oliver being introduced as basically Barry's mentor in the first episode, and then he just barely shows up in the show.
Shows up once a year at Christmas. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's really what happened. You will find that these shows are all very well interconnected. They do such a great job of that. To get through the Defenders, they do such a great job of it.
I do hate how far back we got delayed with everything.
Yeah.
But because I forgot how much I enjoyed watching this so much. And it's like, I understand that we took like a couple day break after watching Jessica Jones season 1 because we were just watching them back to back for like a month straight. And then, we were like, all right, let's have a little break. And then just work and other stuff just had us delayed even more. It's like, we got to really find the time to do this.
Yeah.
Well, Daredevil season 2 is a great place to pick back up because, like you said, the pacing of it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
You can just sit there and watch it, and you don't feel like I'm plodding through something.
Yeah.
It's so hard to watch. And actually, I've already started Luke Cage, which is the next one we'll talk about.
We started it last night. We got through 3 episodes last night.
And the pacing is not Daredevil pacing, but it's still
not,
pretty
but
good pacing.
Yeah,
It's
It's
better
not
really
Jessica
is.
Jones.
No.
It's not a slow noir drama. It's still the
That's
gangster
why I'm
crime
kind of
stuff.
afraid of getting to Jessica Jones season 2 because I don't know
It's-
if season 2 is any better or if it's about
It's
the
paced
same.
differently.
I will say season 2 and season 3 of Jessica Jones do have better pacing than the first season.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and tell you that. Like the
And
first,
it's like at the same time, I can see why because it's like the first season of a show of a different character, and so you have to learn who they are, what they do, and then
Well,
get their backstory and whatnot before they all come together.
her particular villain in season 1 also, he's not a fighting villain. He's
No,
not a guy
he's
who's
not.
coming to punch and hit and all this.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's getting other people to do stuff, and he works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
yeah.
The rest of her story is with more actionable characters, which will make it makes the pacing much better.
Yeah.
This is a weird thing, but after seeing Loki's arc in the Avengers, I kind of wish they had played on that Purple Man possibly becoming a good guy thing, but like struggling to do it because he like has like a good guy turn.
I mean, if you didn't have to keep the season to 10 episodes and finish him off that season, was it 10, 13 episodes?
13.
I was gonna
Sorry.
say, yeah.
If you didn't have, still keeping it to 13 episodes, if you didn't have to kill him off at the end of the season for it to work with the whole Defenders saga,
Yeah.
they could have dragged that out more and let him go back and forth between good guy, bad guy. If you were running a 26 episode season, or 22, like a lot of network television,
Yeah.
there's a lot of room to let him kind of explore being good and bad with her. And I think that would add to her instability, I guess, with him. Like, is this working? Is it not working?
Yeah.
He's kind of good. He's kind of bad. It's almost like, what's that show that you like, Lucifer? It's kind of like Lucifer, where he's not exactly good and he's definitely not exactly bad.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Lucifer's completely different.
No.
Yeah.
I would say that's because it takes him like 2-3 seasons to be like, okay, now that I'm actually in love with Chloe, I'm not doing anything that's not technically immoral, but it
his
still
thing's
kind
not
of
that
is.
he's a bad guy. He's
He's
not like
the devil.
He's not a bad guy. And you haven't watched the show. In the show, he's not a bad guy. He's more of an anti-hero, but it's not like
That's what he would be. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
The Purple Man would be exploring. Like, could I?
You're saying he would
Like
have
where
a
he
son-
wanted,
okay.
where he wanted to make that guy shoot himself in the face, and his idea was, I mean, he won't threaten anybody else. I don't see a
No.
problem with it.
Oliver.
If they drag it out over the season and ultimately he chooses evil
Yeah.
and she has to kill him like she ended up doing. I think there was room to explore that a little bit more, but there wasn't enough episodes to do
See,
it.
and I thought he was going to change because after that, he was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to change right there. And then it was just like, well, who's going to be the main bad guy then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think these shows also still have a similar problem, just that the MCU in total has, where like you'll get introduced to a new villain and then they die. Like
Except Wilson Fisk.
except Wilson, he
Yeah.
is the Loki of the TV shows. I will give you that. He sticks around, but
And actually Nobu came back, so
That
I loved his
surprised.
death scene, by the way, with Stick.
oh my god,
Oh,
To come back
yeah.
from that. Why don't you come back from that?
And the fact that, after all this time, Stick is still teaching Matt how to use his abilities and
Yes.
strengthening it even more.
I love that Stick's like, you need to get rid of all your connections and be a warrior, and then still ends up just being a father figure anyway because he is terrible at not being a father figure. He tries not to be, But then he ends up doing it anyway.
Well, I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing that's very human to be able to say to someone, you've got to do this, but you can't do it yourself. And
Yeah.
so it's like you've got to not be judgmental of somebody, but you judge everybody. You've got to break all your connections, but I'm connected to you. You know, if he really wanted Matt to break all his connections with people, he would walk away, and he doesn't walk away.
No.
And I think you said a second ago, where he asked him at the end, was it worth loving her?
Yeah,
and
was
he's
it
like,
worth it?
absolutely, it was worth loving
Yeah.
her.
Oh my God. I love how he's like,
Stick wants to know. Stick may have forsaken everything in his life, and so he kind of has to live now vicariously through Matt and be like, okay, you have to tell me, was it worth it?
yeah, I love that Matt like tries to make it sound like he is actually like he is disconnected from people, but like even then he's still like, yeah, absolutely it was. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, he tries, but he can't.
no,
And I think that's good. That's a struggle for him. Like, he knows every time I'm around Foggy or Karen, I put them in danger, but they're my friends. I can't give them up. I can't not be
Yeah.
in their lives.
I like that Claire also like brings that up and kind of throws it in his face. Like you're a sinking ship and you're cutting off your anchors. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Once again, Claire is back.
Yeah,
Love Claire.
I was shocked by that too, and then I thought she was going to die right then and there with the hand infiltrating the hospital to grab those kids back.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, she instead quits her job, and
Cl-
I don't know, might return again in season 3.
Claire, Malcolm,
Everybody continues to stay part of this interconnected universe. I'll just say that.
Claire,
She's there for a reason.
yeah, Claire, Malcolm, and Melvin are my favorite side characters.
Yeah.
Like of all time.
Melvin's great. I like
So-
him.
Tell me something,
Hmm.
because you're the comic book guy.
Hmm.
Daredevil's superpower. He's Hawkeye, right? I mean, what is it that makes Daredevil, not Daredevil, sorry, Punisher. I don't know what I'm thinking. What is it that makes Punisher special? Tell me what makes Punisher special.
He's
He-
I have a reason I'm asking this.
I mean, he has a military background, so he's
He's a
trained
Marine.
for that too.
that's pretty much. I mean,
No offense to Marines. I respect you all. Thank you for your service. But we're talking superheroes.
he's not a superhero.
Telling me that he's a Marine doesn't.
He's just a guy. I don't know what else to tell you. He's a badass.
Yeah,
He has a healing factor.
Does he?
he does.
In the comics?
He heals pretty quick in the show.
I don't
Well, the show also takes
know.
place over like several months.
I mean, okay.
I'm
can look
asking-
I haven't read
I'm-
Punisher comics in a long
I've never
time.
read-
I'm
So
asking
Punisher
because
comics.
of a certain thing that he said to Karen, and that's why I bring up Hawkeye, because he is shooting up that hospital,
Yeah.
trying to kill the petty thief criminal guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the dude that survived the shootout.
The
from the
shootout
Irish
in the
bar.
Irish bar. Yeah, he's trying to kill him, and at one point he's talking to Karen later, and he says, "You know, you were never in danger. Like, not one shot that I shot was going to hit you ever." And she's
But
like,
see,
"What?"
that
He was
also
because he
doesn't
was
make
shooting
sense
a
be-
machine gun through a
No,
hospital.
he was shooting a
Yeah,
shotgun.
no.
or a shotgun
No,
through the hospital.
so-
Like, there's no way that you could control all the pellets and make sure
Yeah.
that it would never hit her.
So-
But he tells her, like, you know that not one of those shots would have hit you. Like he is so good
He had-
even with a shotgun,
He is
like Hawkeye is with an arrow.
He is an expert marksman. He has had superpowers.
Have you ever
occasion-
shot a shotgun?
Hold on.
Well, the spread
Like,
also depends.
I know you can choke it.
varies on the. Well, yeah, if you have like a muzzle choke.
So
But depending on the actual, I guess load, like whether it's buckshot, birdshot,
He wasn't
it
shooting
depends
slugs.
no, it just depends on how the spread is, and spreads depend, especially
fair.
at
So
range.
other than occasional like crossovers or like for like short brief periods of time of gaining superpowers and then losing them, no, he does not have any superpowers. He is just peak physical human, like expert marksman. Like that's really it.
Yeah. So that to me the comment doesn't make sense because to Connor's point, he's shooting a shotgun. To my point, he's not shooting slugs, which is a single.
Yeah,
Well, it's like a bullet in a shotgun.
he's basically saying
He's
that
shooting
It's just
actual.
a big chunk of lead.
his all he is saying is that he does not kill anyone that doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how could he control that it wouldn't hit her when she's running side by side with
Did you miss the X-Men expert marksman part?
shotgun? You've never shot one.
I'm just saying.
They do this.
I
like
understand.
that.
I understand what you're
I
saying.
wish I had a camera. We're gonna be on camera by March. I said it would be by February, but we're moving this weekend. We'll have a new place to record starting next week, and we'll get cameras set up shortly after that. But in the meantime, you can just imagine with my hands, I'm saying this is what a shotgun does.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just also saying that he knows how to shoot a gun, probably knows how to make sure that no one gets hurt.
I guess theoretically, like if you were to aim slightly more direction to where if like the majority of the spread would be to the left of the guy he was intending to shoot, the outer part could still catch him
and not
but
catch her.
not
I
get
guess if you're
carried
an
at
expert
all.
marksman, maybe, but it doesn't.
But that would
like
also
watching the
be-
scene. It doesn't seem like he was doing that.
No, that would
Yeah,
also be
well-
having the ability to predict how the spread is going to be.
exactly.
I mean, you were watching him like snipe people one shot, killing the hand members. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Sniper's different than a shotgun.
I'm just saying, he's an expert marksman. He's not a superpowered dude. He's
I feel
just
like a failure as a father that I haven't taken my son out to shoot various guns.
I've shot a couple different guns.
He needs to shoot a shotgun real bad.
I have shot. Did I not shoot a shotgun at Craig's?
I don't think so. We shot rifles.
Oh, okay.
They're different.
Well, not the point. My point is that I mean, even Daredevil though doesn't really have superpowers. Like
yes, he does. They explain it in season 1. He
Yeah.
has the ability to meditate to heal his body faster.
that's not a superpower.
He heals his body faster
Anyone can learn
than
that.
anybody.
Anybody can learn that.
But not everybody does.
Anybody can. If it's an ability that anybody can learn, it's not a superpower.
If it's an ability that not everybody has, then it's a superpower.
It is established in Marvel lore. It is something that anybody can learn.
Doesn't
it's
matter.
not a superpower.
Not everybody has learned it, so it's a
part of
superpower.
it's
It's
part
a
of
healing
being-
factor.
It's part of peak,
Stop.
No, it's not a healing factor. It's part of being a peak physical human. Like that's just even Batman can do it. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, well, it's super.
The closest he's got
Makes
to,
him more powerful than you.
The closest he's got to superpowers is that his hearing got enhanced when his eyes got hurt. But that's it. Like he does not have that many. He's not superpowered. He's just a dude.
I don't think that's right.
That is right. That
He heals quick. That's a superpower.
no. Luke Cage heals quick. Actually, no, he doesn't heal
He
at all.
doesn't heal. He just has really tough skin that may or may not be able to withstand a RPG
I
rocket
can't wait until
until we watch episode 4.
11. Episode 11.
4. Cottonmouth shot the restaurant with a rocket.
You don't know what I'm referring to.
What?
No, I don't.
Episode 11 of Luke Cage.
We're not there yet.
I
Why
know
are you
we're-
bringing it up?
I'm not. I'm just saying, just be prepared for episode 11 of Luke Cage. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, Luke Cage took a shotgun point blank to the face.
But
Yeah.
also had some medical issues result of that.
But he didn't, and he healed from those, but he didn't, his skin didn't break. He didn't have to.
I like how he even mentions in Luke Cage that he's like, that still affected me.
We're not there.
I know, but like it's,
We're not there.
well, we already watched it.
That's okay. We're not there. We'll address it.
3
We'll address it when we do Luke Cage.
I know. I'm just ready to talk about it because it's such a good show. Because I forgot.
We're gonna get there. We will. Okay,
I mean, that's
so
pretty much. I don't know. Is that it? I mean,
That pretty much wraps up season 2 of Daredevil, I think. I don't think I missed anything. And I tried to remember a lot. 'cause
favorite fight
it was-
scenes.
favorite fight scenes. That's harder for this season.
Oh,
There were some good
yeah.
ones.
Like with Punisher.
I
Like, there
really
was
like the
a lot of
Daredevil
good
and
ones.
Punisher fight scenes.
Yeah.
I think the best of Punishers is the scene. The scene where he gets his foot drilled in.
Oh God, I hated that.
Like that fight scene, like you could tell he took the pain and then just stood up and
Yeah.
beat all of them, and I
Yeah.
love it. And Daredevil ended up joining in on that fight
I'm
too.
still surprised he was able to still walk just fine after that. I feel like that would like immobile
Healing
your
factor.
ability to.
In that same, I will say that ended up being a cool fight for another reason, because that ended up leading into my favorite Daredevil fight, where he has the gun taped to his hand. No, that was
The one at the ceiling, or not the
yeah.
ceiling, the roof.
Okay, so that was the rooftop. Never mind.
That was their first fight.
After the rooftop, he's got the gun taped to his hand.
Yeah. Trying to get him to kill somebody.
Yeah, and he's already shot the 2 shots, and so he has it in his hand, and he tries to shoot one of the guards, and it doesn't work, and he just smiles. Like, you see the biggest smile on his face, and I love that. Like,
That was
was
funny.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then he's got that chain. That whole scene was great.
When he was using the chain to fight, that was great.
Once again, I love Nobu fights. I think that
the
the
Nobu
choreographer
fights were
fight in
good.
that, obviously the Punisher fights, the Punisher versus Daredevil fights were good.
Yeah.
And then every time Elektra and Daredevil fought together,
I didn't
when they fought the ninjas, I enjoyed that.
I didn't like the first one I liked it, but I didn't like it like
In the
I
apartment?
didn't love the apartment one.
Well,
wasn't all
okay,
that
that's fair.
good. But the final one,
The final one.
and then ending it on her death was
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my
I-
favorite fights.
I remembered her dying, but man, I forgot how
Wait, so
brutal
that's-
it was.
That's another thing I didn't bring up is I thought they buried her. I didn't think
They
the
did.
hand took her body.
They did.
and,
They did, and then they dug
They
it
went
up.
and dug it up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, they totally buried her. They were at the graveside.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the scene
Dang,
at the graveyard where the guy died, and you were like, "Oh, who's digging up graves?"
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot they actually did show that.
Yeah, because I didn't know if they teased her being put in the thing at the end, or if they did that in Defenders. So I was like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to talk about that or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed all
I-
of the
I
fight
really
scenes
like her.
equally.
I really like her. Slight spoiler, because you can find this on the internet, and Cameron's probably already talked about it.
Oh, no. Wait, what is it?
I mean, you can find it on the internet easy. She's casted
Yeah.
for Born Again.
Oh,
I have no idea how that's going to work, because I don't know. I don't remember, honestly. Of the characters, I remember how the Defenders ends. I don't remember how she ends in the Defenders, so I don't remember how she could come back to Born Again. But she is casted, so that's kind of cool. I'm excited to get back to Defenders because of all the shows. It's the one I remember the least about.
Really?
Out of the whole thing, I cannot remember how it
That's
ends.
the one I remember the most about.
Yeah, I can't remember how it
Like,
ends. And so I'm like, let's get through Luke Cage. Let's get through Iron Fist, because I want to watch the Defenders.
Yeah,
again.
it's crazy because I didn't remember parts of Daredevil. I didn't remember a lot of Jessica Jones in hindsight.
Yeah.
I remembered probably the least of the 3 that we've watched so far, Daredevil season 2. I remember it being bloated, but I didn't remember that that the team broke up at the end. I thought Matt just left.
You call it bloated, but when I think bloated, I think
Iron Man 2.
huh?
Yeah.
No, when I think bloated, I think Spider-Man 3.
No Way Home?
No,
Or
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3.
I didn't think that was bloated as much. Well, it was bloated.
It was
but
bloated. There was too much.
yeah.
And I thought the way that it was spaced in Daredevil season 2, it's spaced out really well. There's a very clear Punisher story.
yeah.
There's a very clear Hand story, and there's a very clear Wilson Fisk story becoming the Kingpin. And I think they spread those out perfectly through the season.
The first 4 episodes are the Punisher arc. The next 4 episodes are the Elektra arc. And then the last 5 episodes is everything like
Coming together. And
collapsing on
yeah.
itself.
I think
Yeah.
it's spaced out perfectly. When I think bloated, I think how they crammed together Spider-Man villains and Spider-Man
See,
into
I remember
into that
and
Tobey Maguire
The reason
movie.
I say Iron Man 2 is the best example of bloating something is because they try to fit Iron Man dying from a poison with his alcoholism arc at the same time as shoving Avengers setup in it. It's the same time as trying to have him, fight Hammer Industries, at the same time as fighting Whiplash, at the same time as his friendship with Rhodey is falling apart, at the same time as trying to develop his relationship with Pepper, at the same time as also
I think all of that
trying
was
to tell
really
her
well.
that, you have to run the company now because I'm not going to be around. Like, it's just a lot to do at once when you could have done like 2 or 3 movies on a couple of those things.
To me, they handled that really well in Iron Man 2. I disagree
That's
with you
crazy.
100%. We will never agree on the Iron Man movies
No, we will not.
because your opinion is nonsense.
It's not.
I still like all 3 of them.
Thank you.
I've never said
You're
they
the
were
only
bad.
person.
I
You're the only
never
person.
said they were bad. I just said they don't hold up compared to other movies.
You're
I think
wrong,
there are
though.
better movies.
No.
There are.
But anyway,
I
we have to get off this kind of nonsense or people will quit listening. When he starts talking about Iron Man, people are going to be like, nope, turning that crap off. But I thought they handled it well. There are bloated, stuffed movies that you're just like, oh my God, how many more heroes and villains can you shove in this thing? I'm afraid that that's what's going to happen with Doomsday.
I'm afraid of Born Again, actually. With
Someone said 64
64
individual characters for Doomsday. I'm like,
Good
how
God.
can you make that?
And that's not counting the Secret Wars cast yet.
And how can you make that not feel bloated? I'm interested. If anybody can do it, obviously they can do it.
Oh, the Russos have pulled it off before. I think
The
they
Russos,
can.
I think, are the only people who probably can do it.
What was there like?
But at
30?
the same time, I'm scared that that's what they're going to do is some bloated movie that you don't really get a story out of it because they're trying to find time to squeeze 64 people into
Yeah,
it.
I think Infinity War was a great example of utilizing, was it like 34 or more characters, like main
They
characters.
paced it really well between them.
yeah.
So I trust them, but I think my problem is the same thing they did to Infinity War and Endgame. Instead of just making it Infinity War Part 2 and following up on the movie, they did a whole separate movie that dealt with the ramifications of the last movie. Instead of just picking up where it left off and doing more with it. Like, yes, they pick up where it left off, but then they jump 5 years in the future and tell a completely different story that's related but not the same. Like, it doesn't follow. It's not a direct sequel in the sense that
We're going to have a whole episode on that so that I can shut you down. But
well, also, I mean, they completely wasted the 5-year gap to do like Rob Ronan movie or like other stuff. But we'll get into that later.
yes, we will address that for sure.
Yeah, 'cause-
Probably as we approach Doomsday and start doing an Avengers review.
yeah, because
That being said, I think you guys are right. We've probably talked everything Daredevil 2,
Yeah.
yeah,
Daredevil season 2.
I want to do one more thing.
What?
Well, I was gonna
Say?
say it's not season 2 related; it's Born Again related. But I was gonna say because we were talking about the Doomsday and Secret Wars thing.
I do hope they don't make Born Again bloated from
Yeah, because
too many
I'm already
characters.
hearing we've got Bullseye, Elektra, Daredevil, Karen,
White Tiger.
White Tiger,
Which that's a
Foggy.
character that I don't know at all.
But-
I
yeah,
have never heard of White Tiger.
But the question is are those people spread out across the 2 stages of Born Again?
Yeah.
They're not all stuffed in from episode 1 to the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Hopefully
curious
they've
about.
spaced it out.
Because they've also got Kristen Ritter reprising possibly in season 2. And then possibly Mike Coulter at some point. Like, there's a lot of characters that there are supposedly going to be in the show. They really need to not be blown because it's only 8 episodes per season.
I'm going to be so mad.
Wait, Born Again's going to be shorter?
Yeah, it's only 8 episodes per season.
Oh.
I'm going to be
Or 9,
so
something like
mad.
that.
I think it's 18 episodes.
Is it? No, not the first season.
No, the total is 18
Yeah,
episodes.
it's so 6 up.
9 episodes.
9
episodes a
episodes.
season.
Okay.
I'm going to be so mad if they bring back Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and don't bring back Danny Rand. Like, I will be so
Oh,
mad.
if Finn Jones doesn't come back, dude,
Yeah.
I know
They have got to bring back Danny Rand, or I know a lot of people hated that show. I'm interested in how you're going to feel about Iron Fist. Definitely
Oh,
interested in
I
how you feel
am-
about Iron Fist because it's very divisive.
I am
People either
very-
hated it or loved it. I personally loved Iron Fist.
It was
I-
that divided.
Yeah.
It really was.
Oh
I was
my
very
gosh.
defensive of that show for a couple of reasons. Because it was one of those shows that got really messed up by scheduling. Like Finn Jones ended up not being able to do a lot of the fight choreography correctly because he didn't have a lot of time to learn it because Defenders and Iron Fist were so close together and they were changing fight scenes like every day. Like they would change the script for the fight scenes, so then they would have to completely learn new choreography like 15 minutes before they had to shoot. And
Oh
then
my God.
so people were like, "Oh, he sucks at fighting." It's like, what is he supposed to do? He didn't get the training that Charlie Cox got 6 months of training before they shot
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Well,
Like, that's not fair.
it's gonna be interesting to see what you think about it. If they don't bring him back, though, I will be upset. If you bring back all the Defenders but Danny Rand, I'm gonna be upset.
I will be too, because at least,
And I even like his character. I mean, I liked his personality. I like all of it.
Yeah.
His fighting was fine. They had to do a lot. Basically, what they had to do was a lot of close-up shots on the fighting because that's what they do to hide,
bad choreography.
bad choreography
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But more or less, it was fun to watch.
Well, and there was also, you know how like Jessica Jones gets a lot of talking points because there's not a lot of action.
Yeah.
Well, because the choreography wasn't great and they didn't have time to learn all the fight scenes, they also had to replace a lot of it with dialogue. So
Oh,
it's-
that explains a lot.
no,
yeah.
it's still a good show.
It's still
really,
a good show.
It's
That's
still
not a
good,
bad thing.
but
It's just
that
like
explains why there was way more dialogue versus like action.
well, and that's why people were so divisive on the show. On top of casting a white guy instead of an Asian guy, that was another big deal because
Yeah.
originally
we'll get into that when
Yeah.
we get to the show.
well,
It's dumb.
Yeah,
and
it's
I don't
a
want to talk
long-
about it.
yeah, it's a long, stupid thing that people are still fighting over now. Like when people talk about bringing back Finn Jones.
It's dumb.
So
All right, well, that's Daredevil season 2 on the road to Daredevil Born Again. Hope you liked what you heard. If you did, or if you didn't, like, share, subscribe, rate us 5 stars or 1 star, and hopefully we'll learn from you in the comments why you gave us a 1 star, and we'll make it better. Hit the notification bell, and with that, I think we're out of here.